going on YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. So I've been purifying copper for a little over a week now, and I tell you what, it's been a learning experience, man. I ran into some issues I just quite wasn't expecting, and it had nothing to do with the copper bars in the first place. So I'm sitting here at my computer, and my microphone here kept dropping. It just kept static, and then it would just drop, and I couldn't figure out what was wrong with it. So I hooked it up to my laptop, and it worked fine. And I'm like, I just fixed this mic, so like it should be fine. And then I plugged it back into this computer, same thing. Microphone kept dropping. I'm like, what the hell is going on? It took me 2 hours. I was doing Google searches, updating software, like I was doing everything I could think of. I'm like, wait a minute. The only thing that's changed in this room is this power supply that I've plugged in. I unplugged the power supply, and son of a gun, microphone works fine now. So that was problem one, is I can no longer have that copper purification system in here because I have too many electronics, too many battery chargers and different things that are running at different frequencies, and it's screwing things up. So it had to be moved out of this room, which I wanted it in this room because it's the only safe room from Duke. But you know, it is what it is. Other than that, like, I started off with 1 bar. In the last video that I made, we had 1 bar. I was running it, I was testing different voltages. I figured out if the bar and the wire are not exactly parallel with each other, you're going to get uneven growth, and it's going to mess things up. So they got to be parallel with each other. 10 volts was too much for 1 bar because the water was evaporating too fast, and I was getting these jetters that were shooting out, and they were just breaking off into the muck. So I figured out with 1 bar, 5 volts was perfect. I'm like, okay, now let's try to do some math and figure out how long this is going to take me to get through all of my bars. And this was really rough math. I was breaking off whatever I could per day and just weighing it. I was coming out with 2.3 ounces per day times 7 days in a week, 16.1 ounces in a week, 1 pound per week. The bar that's in there is 5.5 pounds. That would take 5.5 weeks to get through 1 bar, and I have 27 more to go, plus what's in the basement. Yikes. You know what I mean? So I'm like, okay, I got to scale this up. So I scaled it up 2 times in the same bucket. I had 2 bars. Instead of 1 small negative terminal, I went with 1 giant one, lots of surface area. Tried it at 10 volts, was too much again. 5 volts wasn't enough, but 7 volts was perfect. I was getting nice fast growth. Nothing crazy. They weren't shooting out and breaking off like I have to rip them off with pliers. Like good growth, you know what I mean? Water wasn't evaporating too fast. So I'm like, okay, we got 2 going now. Let's scale it up again to 4 bars. And instead of going to get a new container and all this stuff, I had another bucket, I had more wood, I had more screws, so I just made an exact copy of what I already had. And I moved it into this room over here, into Duke's room, which he's not happy about. Yeah, I know, he's trying to take a nap right now, and I keep waking him up, but... So I tried to run it off of 1 power supply, but the problem is, even if I jump these, this power supply does not have the power. So I can max out the knobs all the way to max, and I'm only getting 7.9 volts. I like 7 volts for 2 bars, not 4. I tried running at 7.9 volts for 4 bars, but it wasn't doing anything. So I had to order another power supply. Should be here in about 40 minutes. It's right down the street. I got a black version, same exact one, it's just black. I'm gonna put it over here. We're gonna power this one. So I've spent a total of $140 in materials now. And yeah, it's gonna have to run in here. You know what I mean? So I put down Duke's, these are scat mats. It's basically a bunch of electrical wires hooked up to a lithium-ion 9-volt battery, and if he jumps up here, he's not gonna like it. So I had to, these are like training aids. You can see that couch is covered. I've covered it so he wouldn't scratch it because it was all leather. But then he was going behind the couch where it was not covered, and he was clawing the shit out of the back of my my couch. Brand new, power reclining, leather couch from Jordan's Furniture, you know what I mean? And he went back there and shredded the crap out of it. So I put those scat mats back there, turned them on, and now he won't even go back there. He's like, yeah, I'm all set. He's like, I'll just go outside. Good thinking, Duke. Doesn't matter how many scratch pads I put around the damn couch, he would go behind it. So he knows what these are, and he knows the sound. He saw me put these here. I have no doubt in my mind that he will not mess with this, because I have it at maximum voltage. I've touched it once and it sucks. So I don't recommend it. But yeah, I actually underguesstimated slightly, because this is 1 week and 2 days of you know, growing pure copper, and we have 2 pounds 5 ounces approximately of pure copper in 1 week, a little over a week. And most of that was done with 1 bar. Like 2 days of it was done with 2 bars, but yeah, generally speaking, we got about 2 pounds. So okay, so if we have 4 bars going now, yeah, I'm hoping we can be in the 4, 5, 6 pounds per week area. That would be great. You know what I'm saying? So as soon as that power supply comes, we're gonna hook this up, and then we're gonna let these rip for like another week and see what happens. Should be interesting. Duke, you better not. You better not, dude. Because the Trumpinator is watching you. Alright guys, we got our dueling banjos here, working away, purifying copper. This new power supply, they're both exactly the same. The black one was $1 more for the black model, whatever. It's 30 volts, 10 amps, 30 volts, 10 amps. Same part number, LWK3010D, LWK3010D. But you notice the screen is a little bit different on this one than this one. Interesting. The cooling fan in this one, the black one, is a lot quieter than the white one. Just subtle differences, I guess. I don't know. Chinesium, they probably just put whatever they had and that's it. There you go. It'll do the job for cheap money. But yeah, we got 4 bars going, and I wanted to show you guys this. This is I completely stripped this wire last night. I mean, I got off as much as I could. This is 24 hours of growth. Holy smokes. I mean, I can feel it. This thing is heavy. Isn't that crazy, dude? So I have to be careful how big I let this get, because it's going to start to become difficult to pull this out. So I'm thinking once the crystals get like halfway across, it's time to pull it and strip them all out. I have backed everything off as far as I can, so like this negative terminal is touching the back wall. These copper bars are touching the back wall a little bit. It hasn't seemed to make any difference whatsoever. Like the electricity's not jumping around the sides because it's I don't know, it's plastic. So seems good so far. But yeah, this copper wire, you can see it's as big as the whole thing, stretched all the way across. And this one, I did the same thing. It's stretched all the way across, but I also counter wove it with other wires to give it more surface area to see if that will help at all. We'll see. Just make sure everything is nice and parallel. And literally this one is just starting. This one has never been fired up. And you can see we're running at 7 volts. This one says only 3 amps. That one's 7 volts and it's 7 amps. And I was wondering why that was. So I took these cables off and plugged it onto this one, and I had to turn things up, but once I got to 7 volts, I was at 7 amps. So it's like whatever's going on in there is causing that. It's just a load difference. I don't know. Well, it looks like the old scat mats did their job. I mean, they're kind of expensive, but I mean, if you got a cat, dude, like, it's the best thing ever. You know, because screaming, yelling, smacking them in the ass, it doesn't do anything besides make the cat afraid of you or hate you, you know what I mean? It has to be an environment change. It has to be the environment that punishes them, not you. So these things work. I mean, he's been zapped by one of these one time. That's all it took. And now he knows. If he sees the mats, he just stays clear, and that's what we're looking for. I mean, he's got plenty of other things he can be doing. But I forgot about it and put this metal bowl down and just zapped the crap out of myself. It doesn't hurt. It's just really, really annoying. It's like it's hard to explain. It's just really, really annoying. But yeah, anyways, I think we're gonna harvest what we have on both of these. And I noticed something, right? Whenever you start a fresh wire, like you're just getting it set up, it takes a minute. Like it's like it takes a couple of days for that wire to start to thicken. But once that wire starts to thicken, then it just starts chugging along, man. Like it speeds up. Like it's crazy. All right, guys, let's check in on these. So this one is starting to pick up its pace. So as the water level's been dropping in this from evaporation, I've been adding more copper sulfate water mixture just to really get that nice dark blue color, so I know the liquid is fully saturated. And I think we're there. So now as the water evaporates, I'm just gonna put distilled water in there as needed, you know what I mean, just to quench its thirst. Also, as you know, it's not just evaporation. As these bars start to dissolve and get smaller, obviously it displaces the water less. Every time I pull copper crystals out, it displaces the water less, and it makes it look like the water level is dropping. But yeah, this one's starting to look really healthy. This is a new, this wire I counter wove like a basket, so I'm hoping that this one will go longer. But this one, because the wire's so long, and because of the copper crystals, it's getting so heavy that it's like spreading the copper wire, and it's sagging. And it's hitting the bottom. And look at that, just today we got a jetter, a big jetter that's shooting out. That wasn't there this morning at 4:30 in the morning when Duke woke me up. So yeah, we're gonna pull this out and completely harvest that wire. Just clip the wire up into bits and chuck it in there, because that wire is pure copper, so it can be mixed in there. So I went and made another negative terminal. You know, I did the same back and forth pattern. Then I did 2 straight up to kind of support it, and then I put an X, just kind of wove through it to give it more surface area. Then I brought it outside on a piece of flat concrete, and I beat it with a hammer and really tried to like pancake it flat. And that should be good. That should be able to get heavy and not sag and hit the bottom. So yeah, let's pull this sucker out and see what she looks like. What's that, Duke? Huh? So we got it all back together. It's insane. These bars, I didn't even see them. It's hard to see because this, you can see this fluid is dark. Really, really saturated. I mean, I can see the wire. But the bars, yeah, they're about half the thickness that they were beneath the surface of the water. I mean, this thing is killing it right now. I feel like it's a well-tuned machine right now. But it took a minute to get there. So I feel like I'm just gonna copy whatever I did on that. I'm just gonna do it on this. So as the water evaporates, I'm gonna keep adding more copper sulfate to just bring up the saturation level. And once it gets really, really dark, like that, I'll stop. And now I've been adding just water into that, just distilled water, no more copper sulfate. Because I don't want to continue to add copper sulfate, because then the bars won't dissolve, you know what I mean? But I wanted to get it to, like I'm just experimenting, and this thing's working good now. So I want this one to be doing the same as that. It's getting there. This is 2 days. 2 days of growth on this wire. If it was 2 days on this one, I would have already had to pull it. But this one is gonna continue to chug along. Yeah, I can still see the bottom. I can see the bars. They're starting to dissolve, but yeah, they're just starting to flake off. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can see stuff fall off. That's crazy. So when I did filter this one once through a coffee filter, it was kind of a pain, especially once you get down to the muck. The filtering process is extremely slow. So I think I'm gonna go online and invest in a vacuum, like a lab vacuum filtering setup, if it's not too expensive, just to help speed up that process, because I'm gonna have to filter that stuff many times. But this is what we got. Let's give it away. So I clipped off any just bare wire and just left whatever. Oh my god, this thing is way heavier than it looks. Yeah, look at that. 1 pound, 10 ounces. That's nuts. Yeah, look at those little crystals. Some of them grow like really clumped up, and like you'd be surprised. You're not getting that off of there. Like these, I can break off. Yeah, see? That'll break off. These little ones. Yep, I can break that off. But these little guys, these little nuggets, good luck. Good luck. Those are on there. So I'm just gonna clip this up into little manageable pieces and throw it in the bin and keep going. Dude, this is crazy. So these are my Nipex wire cutters. These are really good cutters, like really high quality. I can't get through this stuff. It's just not happening. So I had to go down and grab my nip. These are also Nipex, but these are like a bolt cutter style. And God, you're gonna need some of these to cut this stuff, because it is like insane. Here, you ready? Let's see if I can. Well, I already started that. Well, here. I started trying to cut this with these. Yep, not happening. Not happening. Now. Just like butter. Yep. Make sure you have some good cutters. Well, I got the weekend off. And, you know, as tempting as it is, yeah, we don't have that much yet. Once this thing's full, it'll be like 15 pounds of copper. That's like 3 bars. So But we do have to go fire up the forge anyways, because we've got our brand new Crucible that's been sitting in my oven for 2 weeks. You know, I baked it at 400 or 500 degrees for many hours, and then I just left it in there because it's really warm inside of here because of the pilots. So it's had plenty of time to dry out. Now we have to go drag the forge out and heat it up extremely slow so it doesn't explode like my last one. So I think we're just gonna go get that over with, season it, heat it up, and then we'll be ready to go as soon as we have enough copper. All right, I'm starting it out low and slow. Now we gotta heat it all the way up. Slowly, I'll just keep increasing the temperature or the pressure, and we gotta keep checking it until we're clear over, you know, the melting point for copper. We want to get it a little bit hotter than we'll need, you know, in the future. Then I'm gonna put some borax in there, swish it around, let it cool down, and it should be good to go. Well, these two crucibles, they're still going. This one's got a copper pancake at the bottom. This other one I used to use for brass. Still got some crap in there, but I mean, the bottoms are getting a little thin, but I'll probably continue to use these two just to maybe melt down some of the smaller items so we can then, you know, make it easier to purify that copper. And this one, got it up to temperature and left it there for like 20 minutes, as hot as I could get it, and held it there for 20 minutes. Put in a little bit of borax, took it out, swished it around, dumped out the excess, and now I'm just gonna let it naturally cool down inside the forge. Just let it slowly by itself, and then it should be ready to go. As soon as we have enough copper, she's ready to go. Well, anyways, guys, I would say, yeah, it's been a fun couple of weeks just experimenting and playing around with this. But I feel like we've got a well-oiled machine running right now. I mean, it's just cranking along right now. It's nice. But we definitely ran into a few issues. But we've since rectified those issues, scaled up a little bit. I've invested a total of $250 now between power supplies, copper sulfate, you know, distilled water, everything else I had. But I just invested in a laboratory vacuum filtering system. It comes with a little vacuum pump, some glassware, and the little filters that will just make filtering out these tanks much faster and much easier. And in my mind, it made it worth it because I plan on doing this. Yeah, I like this because this is again, real money, not currency. This is real money. Gold, silver, copper. Always has been, always will be. And I like the fact that it's pure. You know what I mean? But yeah, we're cranking along now, and I'm thinking now, hopefully, that both of these negative terminals are, you know, woven like a basket, that they won't sag, and I'll be able to get much more than 1 week out of a negative terminal. You know what I mean? I'll be able to use this for hopefully a month at least. But other than that, I mean, pretty much I have to come in here and check on these once every 2 days. I don't have to come and check on these every day. Usually I'll just peek my head in the room, look at the voltages. If they've changed dramatically, then I check on them. Because if the voltage changes dramatically, then there could be a problem. Or if it just needed a slight adjustment, I'll just adjust them up or down to, you know, stay around 7 volts. But pretty much the way it's going, every 2 days, I need to harvest because the crystals are shooting out too close to the bars, and I need to top up the levels because the bars are shrinking, we're pulling stuff out, and there's a little bit of evaporation. So every 2 days, harvest, top up the fluids, and let it keep going. And I just did the last harvest. I forced it on both of them, even though one of them wasn't really ready. So now, once every 2 days, I can do both, and then have a day where I don't even have to touch this or think about this. Because it was like, one day I did this one day I did that one. But now they're both on the same day, so yeah. It is what it is, you know? It's cranking along though, we're doing good. We're pumping out some pure copper. So this will be great. Once I have enough copper to make it worthwhile going outside and firing up the forge, besides what we just had to do to get that crucible ready. But the biggest expense of the forge is getting it hot. And once it's hot, you can just feed it and pump out some copper. But, you know, I want to make sure that we're at least doing like 6 bars. At least. 6 to 10 bars would be great. If we could go and pour 6 to 10 bars in one run, that'd be great. So I'm going to wait until we have enough bins full of pure copper, and that video will be coming shortly, I would imagine, because now that we got both of these going, that thing is filling up a lot faster than I was expecting. So keep an eye out. Video will be coming soon. Make sure you subscribe, give me a thumbs up. Right, Duke? Tell him. Yeah, he's in for a nap. But anyways, guys, see you later.